I'm the most honest person in the world. I'm so happy to fucking have Trump back. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this story with Trump. It looks like our dear former president is back in the headlines. Thank God, honestly. Like gives us something fun to talk about. But yeah, the New York Attorney General is accusing Trump of inflating his net worth. So, according to court filings made public recently, the Attorney General alleges that Trump and his allies employed various deceptive schemes. Who'd have thought scheming Trump? Trump doesn't scheme. He's a legend. He's brilliant. He's a force to be reckoned with, and he's a self-made man. Um, so yeah, we're talking billions, billions here, folks. I really suck at my fucking Trump, but I'll work on it. All right. Also, this green screen is hilarious. I love it. I think it's better the worse it is. So let me know what you think about that. I'm really stoked on it. So, uh, here we go. Let's red pill the fuck out of ourselves, right? I'm rich. I'm very rich. Stormy Daniels is a bitch, and Rudy's no snitch. All right, that was good though. Cool. So CNN has this video talking about it. Let's take a look at this episode of MTV Cribs.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is piling on to former President Trump's already enormous legal woes, making public new estimates of just how much she and her office are accusing Trump of inflating his net worth ahead of his October civil fraud trial. Now, in the court filing made public yesterday, she alleges Trump and allies, quote, employed a variety of deceptive schemes to grossly inflate values for many of Trump's assets, from anywhere between roughly $800 million to more than $2 billion. Now, it's worth noting Trump's team responded in filings Wednesday that the whole
Billions. I mean, this isn't that shocking. I mean, the guy basically has taken advantage of the bankruptcy court system to essentially bankroll his entire career. I mean, the guy's whole original career was basically I don't know if you're familiar, but like he had these casinos, one in Atlantic City, and they were, I mean, he was losing investors' money, and then he declared bankruptcy essentially to get out of paying anyone. So I mean, this guy's been doing this his whole career. He talks about how broken, uh, the conservative philosophy is pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, but not for Trump. He fucking exploits corporate welfare.
case should be thrown out. James, meanwhile, is asking a judge to rule on it without a trial because of the overwhelming evidence her office says it has presented. Now, this is also interesting. Back in April, Trump actually sat down with James's office for a 7-hour deposition, which was also unsealed yesterday. Now, it shows him putting up a hodgepodge of defenses. First, he never thought his financial statements would be taken seriously. He said he prepared the statements, quote, just for himself to see a list of properties. Next, it wasn't actually him. It was his son, Eric. Trump said,
Wait, so Trump's now saying he's not in charge of his businesses and it was his son all along? Talk about passing the fuck bucket, bucko. The fuck bucket.
says his son has taken over control of the business in recent years, but also added that he does still have say on major final decisions. Whatever. Trump says he has been
Whatever. Whatever, I say. That was a good one. I got jokes.
hands off since launching his campaign in 2015, and his kids took over when he assumed office in 2017. But James's suit dates back to 2011, and in 2014, the year before he announced his White House bid, James alleges he inflated his net worth by up to $2.23 billion. But Trump argued that James's office underestimated his worth because they overlooked how valuable his brand is. If that were reflected, he said, you could double or even triple his financial statements. James' allegations continue through 2021, including Trump's 4 years in the White House. During those years, however, Trump says he was too busy to commit fraud, preoccupied with what he calls the most important job in the world, quote, saving millions of lives, and also saying
he was saving us. He was saving us all from nuclear holocausts. Too busy to commit fraud on such a billion-dollar scale. How could he ever? Or would neglect also come into play? All right. I love his criminal defense. He does have a good lawyers.
prevented a nuclear holocaust with North Korea. Now, asked whether the Trump Organization has any protocols to make sure it complies with the law, Trump said that is why they have lawyers, and that he has a reputation for being, quote, the most honest person in the world. Sarah?
Alrighty then. Joining us now, Summer 4 Politics.
The most honest person in the world. Yeah, it just seems like he didn't think he'd get caught for this bullshit, but and he never thought his financial statements would be taken seriously. All right.
Reporter Shelby Talcott, Washington Post political video reporter Joyce Coe. Thank you for returning. We weren't too terrible to you. And my homie, and also a senior legal analyst, Ellie Honig.
I want that as my Chiron.
Your home, my homie.
Please.
I think it would be a good one for you. Let's start with what is happening today with Meadows. Give us some sense of. I feel like all of these cases. You've got several people now saying we want our trial fast in Georgia.
Yes.
How in the world is this going to happen? How are they going to do it?
There's so many moving parts. There's 19 defendants in the Fulton County case. Mark Meadows is trying to get his case moved over from state court, where he was charged, over into federal court. And the touchstone there is going to be, was he acting within his official job as White House Chief of Staff or outside his job? Now, the judge, the federal judge who's deciding this issue, sort of did a favor for the parties. He said, here's the key issue that I'm stuck on, and the parties have to submit their briefs on this today. He said, what if I find that some of his acts were inside the lines, some of his acts were outside the lines? Then do I take the case or not? And the answer is we don't know.
All right. Well, you know what? I think there's enough like here to. I don't give a shit about what CNN has to say, but Trump is. I'm just glad to have him back. You know, in the headlines. You know, it's been a while since we've seen him. Kind of laid low. Honestly, he kind of took a break. I think he was out and about. But what is there to say? I guess the thing that gets me riled up is Trump and his allies allegedly, you know, employed these deceptive schemes to inflate his assets. So he went from 800 million to 2 billion. That's not a small accounting error. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like some pretty fucking Hollywood accounting, monopoly money, you know, G.I. Joe, toy soldier, Italian job math. But what's even more mind-boggling is just the audacity to do that bullshit. Like, he just does it. You know what I mean? And that's why Trump is a rock star. Sorry, but like that's why Trump like wins at everything, because he throws at everything at the wall, you know, like in terms of just any defense, any way to get out of anything essentially, and he wins, you know, and because we don't have the mental stamina to deal with the Trump brand, which is essentially race baiting insanity. But you know, the other thing that really frustrates me and annoys the fuck out of me is he claims that during his presidency, you know, he was too busy saving millions of lives, which of course he didn't stop the COVID breakout. He did do some support of the vaccine, and that's an interesting thing that he you know, he was a huge proponent of the vaccine and the expedition of it, which he now doesn't really dabble in. You notice on the campaign trail, he doesn't talk about the vaccine. He doesn't, you know, doesn't bring it up because he knows that it's a, you know, the recipe for disaster for him and his right-wing grift. But yeah, talk about dogging responsibility here, passing the blame onto your sons. You know, he just backflips every fucking bullet like Neo in the Matrix. And you know, the craziest part is, I guess, that the banks still made their money with interest here. No one actually got defrauded. So I guess it's just a case of smoke and mirrors, but just yet another, you know, yet another point of frustration with Trump, which happens every day. But here's really my question: shouldn't we hold our leaders to a higher standard? Like, how can someone who, on one hand, claims to be the most honest person in the world get away with such inflated, honestly, nonsense bullshit? Like, uh, you know, you know what? So if he likes being president, and he believes being president, what, you know, he gets immunity, I guess, you know, executive privilege, but he shouldn't get immunity from scrutiny. Especially, this seems like something that's black and white. So we have a former reality TV star turned president, turned financial wizard, but this has always been the case, and he's just playing fast and loose with numbers, and this is just business as usual. It's like watching a real estate reality show on fucking steroids on a global scale. And it's certainly not making America fucking great again. I'll fucking say that. um you know, what do I know? All I can say is that watching this whole Trump net worth scandal is like watching a car crash in slow motion, but you just can't look away. Meanwhile, you know, he's basically getting richer and richer from the publicity. I mean, his um his brand grows the more we give him attention, and that's why the comparison to the reality star is so accurate. But yeah. All right. With that, my friends, I think we should wrap up, but stay tuned for more jaw-dropping stories and outrageous revelations, because the world of politics never fails to deliver its dose of comedy and motherfucking chaos. And until next time, stay woke, keep questioning, and you know, stay out of an audit. But you know, at least we have front row seats. Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, and we'll see ya soon. Keep searching for the truth.